Hellions, welcome to the pallet tutorial. This is going to teach you how to put walls up for your haunted house using readily accessible, very versatile pallets. I'm going to attempt to make this a standalone video. However, if you guys have questions, feel free to post them down below and I might do a part 2 to this video because I want to make sure that I answer your questions, showing you also so that it's not just talk or it's not just typing that you're seeing. You can actually see what's going on and how to do things. One of the questions that I'm asked quite often is, where do you find pallets? And basically word of mouth. Ask your friends, ask your parents if you're younger, ask people that you work with, because somebody will know a business that is giving away pallets. Or you could just go around to different businesses that you know deal with pallets and see if they might not have some that they want to donate to you. The other option is obviously Craigslist. You can post an ad for pallets, or you can go and look for places that are getting rid of pallets. Or you can also go on to some of the Facebook groups. There's probably a group in your area that's like for free, buy, sell, trade. Do a search for them. They are out there. Not all pallets come in the same size, and a lot of the sizes, I believe that 40 by 48 is the most common, but it's also the most sought after because people do recycle these and they make money. So you may not be able to find any of those and you're going to be stuck with a bunch of oddball pallets. So we'll get into that later in the tutorial on how to deal with those oddball pallets. Let's start by going over some of the materials that you might need for this project. Granted, this is not a complete list. Just as haunting and building things like changes, you have to roll with it, improvise, and do what you can with what you got. But some basic tools are these. Coarse thread drywall screws. These are 1.25 inches, which are probably going to be not long enough for what we're needing today. And then these right here are 3 inches, and these are probably going to be too long. So you want to get something right in between, probably about a 2-inch screw. Next, you're going to need a drill with a Phillips tip, because you certainly don't want to do this by hand. Screwing all these in is going to be a real pain. You're also going to want a drill, and this is going to be slightly smaller than the circumference of the screw. The wood is usually extremely flimsy, extremely dry. It cracks very easily, so you want to pre-drill as many holes as you can. We're also going to need something to cut, and we're also going to need scrap wood. Guys, scrap wood is awesome to hold these things together. A hammer, a ladder, and also your favorite beverage: alcohol, coffee, soda, water, whatever you choose. The first wall that you will ever set up with pallets is going to be a 90-degree angle. This is going to be the quickest way and the easiest way, especially if there's only one person. Right off the bat, you can tell that the ground is lower over here than it is over here. If you're building outside and you're not on a nice concrete slab, you're going to notice that you're going to get a natural lean. Simply take one of your 2x4 pieces, put it underneath the bottom of the pallet to make sure that it's nice and level, and then screw it in. Since the ground is not even, this next pallet might ride up higher or down lower than this one right here, and this is where we adjust for height as we build our wall. People aren't going to notice the difference in height unless they look up at the very top, so not a big deal. I also prefer to run all of my pallets parallel with the ground, so you want the 2x4 piece up on top on both of them. This is going to give you better stability when you mount the next one on top of this, and it's also going to give you something to mount to the side. Typically, you don't want to mount anything to just one single board. Most pallets come with more wood on one side than they do on the other, so make sure that you guys are paying attention to this when you're setting this up. Typically, you'll have the most wood on the side that your patrons are going to be on. The first screw that I ever use, I just call the set screw. And screw number 2. As shown, your third and final screw will be driven in at an angle. So I'm going to use 4 of the short screws and 2 of the long screws. We're going to take this piece of wood and we're going to put it half and half right back behind these 2 pieces here. So holding it with your one hand as kind of like a clamp, kind of put your screw in just a little bit. Make sure your fingers are out of the way on the other side. Alright, and now this piece of wood is held into place. We're going to go on the other side. We're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to put 2 more screws in. just like that. Now we've also ran this all the way to the top, as far up as we can get. So we're gonna stabilize this just a little bit more, and we're gonna put 2 of these in from the top. Remember you guys, I was talking about pre-drilling? This is why. So I'm showing you what not to do right now. But you take the 2 screws from the top. This gives it added stability. So right now, look at this. It looks like one piece. There's no movement between these 2 pieces. We can do the same with the bottom. You're still going to have wobble in the ends, of course. And we'll get into this stuff in a second too. But as far as this piece goes right here, that's pretty stable. So now you come to this problem. You have began to construct your wall, and the pallet on top is smaller than the one that you have to put there. How do you handle this? Honestly, the best way is to try and find one that fits. If you can't find one that fits, that's the awesome thing about pallets, is because they're disposable. So we can just cut this here, here, and here, and boom, we have a custom fit pallet for that piece of the wall. But I want to keep searching. And no, I didn't plan this. Sometimes you just get lucky. This one fits perfectly. So let's tackle this one with 3 screws. You can stick your drill right in the center of the pallet. And screw that bad boy down. Alright, so our wall so far. Let's talk about safety real quick. If you guys go and you see nails and stuff protruding out, take care of them. So now we'll go ahead and put up that next pallet just like we've done the other ones. So our main stability point right now is this corner. So there we go. For pallets, that's pretty stable for that. Let's go ahead and move on so I can show you guys how to stabilize longer runs. A 90-degree angle is always going to be your best point of stability as far as connecting the pallets. When you do connect one at 90 degrees, don't connect them where you've connected 2 before. So in other words, don't put a 90 degree off of this one. Number 1, it's going to be less stable, and it's going to be more difficult to work in that area. You're going to want to stabilize it right in the center of an existing pallet. And you want as much of this to contact this piece as possible. So where it might make sense to put it in between 2 slats like this, we're actually going to use this slat right here, and we're going to take some 2x4s and put them right in between here. A true test of being a haunter is staying versatile and fabrication. This right here is nothing but fabrication. This can be done a lot of other ways, but when you're doing pallet walls and people are going to be walking through them, you really want to make them as stable as possible, and this right here is going to achieve that. So we're just going to put the 2x4 in there, and we're going to attach 4 screws to hold it in. Sometimes you might need to break out the old attitude adjuster to be able to get these 2x4s to set in there right. So now we can attach this one the same way we've done the other ones. When you design your haunt out of pallets, you're going to want to stabilize them about every 3rd pallet. I want to show you one more way to stabilize the upper pallets, and it'll help stabilize everything. Whenever you guys stabilize the upper pallets, you always want to go 45 degrees from each other. For instance, if there was another pallet here and another one here, you would want to stabilize at the top from there to there, essentially making a 45-degree angle. One problem you might have, obviously, is with the height of the pallets. That's easily taken care of attaching it up there and then cutting a 45-degree angle here at the end and attaching it to that right there. So to do this, you would mark this 2x4 here, cut it, and then attach it to right here using screws through this side. And then over here, you could just cut it here and attach it to the very top right here. Another method would be 45 degrees. You can mark your wood by lining it up there, mark your wood, cut it, a compound miter saw is also helpful to do that. And you'd want to attach it and drill into the 2x4 here, put your screws into the 2x4 going through here, having a 45-degree angle. And then down here at the end, you can get another 2x4 and attach it down here and put some bricks or sandbags on it. And then if you're not able to do that, one year I did take rebar, and please make sure that you don't have sewer lines or water lines or any other lines in the ground. I took the rebar and an 8-foot section of rebar and pounded it into the ground 2 feet so that the rebar was all the way up to the top. And then I took little pipe holders and I just screwed it around the rebar and went up the side here. So the rebar was in the ground all the way down the bottom, down there. And I just took them and attached them right there. Now, granted, it was still wobbly, but it wasn't going to fall because the rebar is not going to bend. So after you have cleaned up all the nails to make sure that they're all pounded in, make sure that none of the screws are sticking out, and also make sure none of the wood is out of it. You take that off, or you can use it, pound in your nails, pull out your nails, whatever you need to do to make it safe. Obviously, if you're doing a pro haunt, then you're probably not going to be using pallet walls. But if you are, break out your fire retardant. If you have money in the home haunt, break out your fire retardant. If not, I want to see you guys with fire extinguishers because we have to keep it safe. We don't want anything happening to anybody because then that gives our whole backyard haunt industry a bad name. Here's a question many of you probably haven't thought about before, or maybe you've actually ran into this problem. What do you do if you don't have enough pallets? I mean, simply, you've looked and looked and you've got enough to make like a skeleton maze, but you don't have enough to complete it. What do you do? It's just about ready to film this and say, well, if you guys had another pallet right here, but not over here, then you could do this. And I'm like, wait a second. I don't have enough pallets to finish this thing. You guys may not have enough pallets either, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. Let's work with what I've got. We need to complete this wall going down here. I've only got these 2 pallets right here, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to join these 2 together and stabilize them. Not all the time do you get to take the screws straight in. Sometimes you have to angle them so that it matches up with your wood. So I'm going to use just what I have. I've got this 2x4 here, and I've got a bunch of 1x2s over here. So let's stabilize this 2x4. I'm going to show you guys a little trick. 2 1x2s equal 1 2x2. You stagger them like this. You're going to be able to put this on top of the panel over there and string them across. Your last thing to do with these is to coat them with what you want, either wallpaper, plastic, whatever you think looks good on your haunt walls. This is extremely rustic, what I did right here, but this will allow you to hang something over so that you can cover up this whole space. And now you have a secret entrance and exit way also for either egress or to scare the crap out of somebody. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. Post your comments down below. I'd love to hear them. Like I said, I'm thinking that this will be a standalone tutorial, but if you have enough questions that I didn't answer, then I might make a part 2. So happy haunting, guys. Thanks for watching, and go scare the crap out of someone. This is the one that's going to determine your lean. You need 2 hands to do this. I'm only using 1. The camera's in the other. Good. We're vertically challenged. Let's talk about safety real quick. If you guys go and you see nails and stuff protruding out, take care of them. Take care of your loose wood because it could fall on somebody. That was not planned. That was awesome.